The boy's voice trembled so badly it barely sounded human, yet the words cut through the quiet police station like a blade. He begged them to arrest him, and his dog. His small hands clutched the worn leash so tightly his knuckles had turned white, his tear-streaked face filled with a fear no child should ever carry. And beside him stood the dog, silent, still, and watchful, as if it understood that everything in that moment was about to change forever. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the unseen bond between humans and animals, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this deserve to be heard. The officers in the room exchanged confused glances, unsure whether they were witnessing a prank, a misunderstanding, or something far more serious. The boy looked no older than 10, his hoodie smudged with dirt, his shoes worn thin, and his eyes carried exhaustion far beyond his years. The dog beside him, a sturdy bulldog with a drooping face and tired eyes, stood protectively close, its body slightly angled toward the boy as if shielding him from the world. There was something deeply unsettling about the way the boy stood there, not defiant, not rebellious, but resigned. Like someone who had already accepted a fate he couldn't escape. As the officers gently tried to calm him, the boy's breathing grew heavier, his chest rising and falling rapidly. He kept glancing down at the dog, his grip on the leash never loosening, as if letting go would mean losing the only thing he had left in the world. The room, once filled with the quiet hum of routine police work, had fallen into a thick silence, every officer now focused on the fragile scene unfolding before them. The boy's story didn't come out all at once. It came in pieces, broken, scattered, and soaked in fear. He had no home to go back to. Nights were spent in abandoned corners, under stairwells, or anywhere that offered a little shelter from the cold. Food was never guaranteed, safety was never certain, but through it all, the dog had never left his side. The officers began to understand that this wasn't a child asking for punishment. This was a child asking for protection. The dog, he explained through shaky breaths, had done something bad. It had growled at someone, a man who had tried to grab the boy earlier that day. The dog had stepped in, standing its ground, refusing to let the stranger come any closer. To the boy, that act of loyalty felt like a crime. He believed the dog would be taken away, labeled dangerous, or worse. So, in his mind, there was only one solution: if they were both arrested, at least they would stay together. The realization hit the room like a wave. This wasn't fear of punishment. This was fear of separation. Fear of losing the only family he had left. The officer's expression softened, the weight of the moment settling into their hearts. One of them crouched down slightly, not to intimidate but to meet the boy at his level. The boy's eyes flickered with uncertainty, as if he had never experienced someone treating him with patience before. Meanwhile, the dog remained still, its eyes moving between the boy and the officers, alert but calm. There was no aggression, no threat, only quiet loyalty. It didn't bark, didn't lunge, didn't show any sign of danger. It simply stayed close, as if its entire purpose in life was to make sure that boy wasn't alone. Time seemed to stretch as the officers pieced everything together. The crime wasn't violence, it was protection. The dog hadn't attacked, it had defended. And the boy, too young to understand the difference in legal terms, only knew one thing: if his dog was in trouble, then he would share that trouble. What happened next wasn't written in any rulebook. Instead of handcuffs, the officers brought water. Instead of cold questioning, they offered warmth. Someone brought food. Another officer quietly made a call. The tension in the room slowly dissolved, replaced by something far more powerful: compassion. The boy didn't fully understand what was happening at first. He kept waiting for the moment when they would take the dog away. His eyes followed every movement, every whisper between the officers. But that moment never came. Instead, he felt a hand gently rest on his shoulder. For the first time since walking into that station, the boy's grip on the leash loosened just slightly. If this story is touching your heart, don't forget to show your support, like the video, share it with others, and let your voice be heard in the comments. Before we continue, here's something special. Comment, "They stayed together," if you believe no one should ever have to face the world alone. By the end of the day, everything had changed. Arrangements were made. People stepped in. The boy wasn't treated like a problem to be solved, but like a life worth saving. And the dog that had only ever known loyalty, was never separated from him. Because sometimes, the truth that leaves everyone speechless isn't about crime or punishment. It's about love, the kind that refuses to let go, even when the world feels like it's falling apart. And in that small police station, on a day that started with fear and desperation, a boy and his dog didn't find a cell. They